wrestling fans. My name is Bryan Crazy. You're watching my brand, that from brand to wrestling, and entertainment here on YouTube.com and the World Wide Web. Since 2010, providing you with the wrestling news, reviews, rumors, and insight that you're grown accustomed to, and you saw the title of this video. I am back with my review of this week's edition of the longest-running weekly episodic television show in history. That's right, Monday Night Raw for November 5th, 2012. It was a pretty solid night on Raw. A lot of build towards the Survivor Series pay-per-view, which is less than 2 weeks away. The dark match of the night, Tyson Kidd ended up picking up the win over Michael McGillicuddy. And then we go into Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman and The Miz are backstage, and The Miz isn't happy about CM Punk ditching them last week and ends up quitting Team Punk for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Then in the first match of the night, Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, and R-Truth pick up the win over Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, and Antonio Cesaro. And I do have to say, the England crowd was hot on Raw. I mean, the crowd was incredible. And when you have an incredible crowd, it just makes the show, even if you're sitting at home, just feel that much more special. And I do have to say, Antonio Cesaro is one tough son of a gun. He's going out there with a broken hand. He's not willing to lose his spot. He crawled through the indies for so many years, finally made it to that main stage. And regardless if he's injured, he's still going out there. He's still performing. And to be perfectly honest, he's still kicking ass. Then we go into a segment with Vickie Guerrero and John Cena. Vickie Guerrero shows some of the video, quote-unquote, proof that she has of the AJ Lee John Cena controversy. And John Cena brings up a very valid point. Weren't you the same lady that married Edge, gave him a title shot, then gave Dolph Ziggler a title shot? You show bias towards everybody, but you're the one that's pointing fingers. And basically, then she calls out AJ. AJ shows up on the big screen and threatens Vickie, but does not want to be fired. She does not want to have this confrontation. Dolph Ziggler appears, mocks AJ, and then causes AJ to run off. This is where John Cena exits the ring, goes running up the ramp to try to find AJ Lee. Then we see Paul Heyman backstage with Wade Barrett. He asked Wade Barrett to join Team Punk and replace The Miz, who decided to quit the team a little bit earlier on the night. Wade Barrett at first is a little hesitant, but then decides to accept Paul Heyman's offer only if Paul Heyman owes him. He doesn't specify what he owes him, but he says he's going to owe him and he wants it in writing. I think Wade Barrett is a very good replacement for The Miz on Team Punk. Then Cody Rhodes ends up picking up the win over Daniel Bryan. This is a quick match. And Damien Sandow and Kane were both at ringside and got involved in this match. After the match, Cody gets on the mic and promises that Damien Sandow could defeat Kane just as quickly as Cody picked up the win over Daniel Bryan. Then we get an impromptu match. Kane ends up picking up the win over Damien Sandow in a quick match. He controlled most of this match. Then Brad Maddox came out. This was the controversial referee that ended up screwing Ryback at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. He does an interview with Michael Cole. Maddox says he's not working with CM Punk. He's in it for himself. He wanted to make it to the WWE, and he was told that he would never make it to the main roster. He crawled through the Indie League. He couldn't get a job in the main roster, so he took the job as the referee and then wanted to make an impact. So what he did was for himself. He did make an impact, and he says he wants to face Ryback. Vince McMahon comes out and makes his wish come true. Next week, he will face Ryback. If he can defeat Ryback, he'll get a $1 million contract, and that's about it. I mean, I wish this kid luck, but in my opinion, Ryback's going to kill him. And also, Vince McMahon kind of coerces Vickie Guerrero. It's a pretty funny segment between these two. I really like how the segment came off into booking a huge three-way dance for the Survivor Series pay-per-view for the WWE title. It will be CM Punk, John Cena, and Ryback. So CM Punk and both Ryback are being removed from the Survivor Series matches. So that puts the current lineup at Cody Rhodes, Damien Sandow, Del Rio, and now Wade Barrett versus Kofi Kingston, Orton, and Daniel Bryan. We'll find out a little bit later on the night who the fifth member of Team Punk will be. Then we see a segment with the World's Heavyweight Champion Big Show. He comes out for commentary, and then Sheamus versus Miz. This is a great match. There's a lot of back and forth action. This is a nice long match, I should say. The kind of match that you really like to see on free television. The kind of match that really shows the amount of talent the Miz has and how far the Miz has come since the kid that was on the real world. When someone's determined enough to learn, they will learn. A lot of them come in green, especially at the age that he was when he first joined the company. There isn't a territory system anymore. There isn't a way for guys to go around and, perfect their craft, be on television, get better, and then make it to the big stage. There's a great indie league, but it's not like how the territories work. If you're a fan of wrestling like I am, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I do have to say, like I was saying, The Miz has just learned so much and advanced so much, and he's become a very good superstar in his own right. This is a great match. Sheamus ends up picking up the win over The Miz after hitting him with the Bro kick. Then we see Vicky backstage with Vince and informs Ziggler that he is now the captain of Team Punk at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Punk appears and says Vince was just messing around with them, and Vicky makes Ryback and Cena versus Punk and Ziggler for later in the night. We see a brief backstage segment with Sheamus and William Regal, and then Layla and Caitlyn pick up the win over Eve Torres and Oksana in Tag Team Divas action. Kofi Kingston then picked up the win over Alberto Del Rio when Randy Orton's music hit for the distraction. Orton then appeared after the match, appeared in the ring. As soon as Del Rio turns around, Orton then hits the RKO. Now, I really like this feud between Alberto Del Rio and Randy Orton. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next few weeks. Then we see Santino Marella and Zack Ryder, Team Cobra, pick up the win over Epico and Primo. Epico and Primo is such a promising tag team, and I hope they get a chance at the tag team titles soon in the future. Wade Barrett came out to a big pop and then picked up the win over Brodus Clay in a quick match. Barrett was very over with the crowd, but this is his hometown crowd. He's from about 200 miles away, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what they said on commentary. Then we see Heath Slater come out, and he defeats Jey Uso, and this is another quick match. Now, you could tell that the crowd just wasn't really into the last few matches. The crowd was really starting to slow down, and the final match of the night kind of, saved it for the crowd. Now, they always like to send the crowd home happy. That's why they do a lot of dark main events. Because if the main event isn't a favorable outcome, if it's one of those, oh my God, I got to see what happens next week, they want to try to send the crowd home happy. That's like the last Raw I went to. They did a multi-man handicap match, John Cena versus Laurinaitis and Otunga, and he ends up picking up the win. The crowd pops, and everybody goes home pleased. But in the main event, we see John Cena and Ryback pick up the win over CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler. Cena got beat down for most of the match and then finally made the tag to Ryback. Ryback hit his finisher on Punk for the win. Cena and Ryback came face-to-face to end the show. So they're starting to become a little animosity, a little issues. I mean, these men are going to be battling in less than 2 weeks inside the ring at the Survivor Series. The time for being friends is over. I mean, the biggest prize in the game is on the line. The WWE title is on the line. And like I said, there's no friends going into that match. Every man is in it for himself, and every man wants to be the WWE champion. And in CM Punk's case, he wants to keep that WWE championship. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed my quick review and results of Monday Night Raw. I'm also going to be producing a SmackDown results and review show for you guys tonight. Thanks for being loyal fans and subscribers. My name is Bryan Crazy for the effing brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Drop your comments below. Can't wait to hear your feedback. As you guys know, I value every single one of your opinions. You got to hear some of my thoughts. Now I want to hear yours. Have a safe morning commute tomorrow, and I'll catch you later.